in communication with Southern California. Channel 9 Public Affairs presents the show where kids tell it like it is. Teen Talk.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Teen Talk. It's becoming a familiar scene here in Los Angeles and all across the country. The parents are divorced, yet the children are living with each of them for 1 or 2 weeks at a time with no disruption in the kids' school or social life. The plan is known as joint custody, where two estranged spouses establish their homes near each other, allowing their children the opportunity of living with them both equally. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, our panel consists of a group of youngsters who are part and parcel of a joint custody agreement. They'll tell all of us what happens when the love in their parents' marriage has gone, but not the love their parents have for them. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk. Tell me first about your parents and the joint custody arrangements they've made with you. Why don't we start with you, Jamie?
They've been divorced. They divorced when I was about 3.
And
So
now
it's
how old are you?
16.
16, so about 13 years ago.
And it's so basically the way I remember. I mean, I don't remember it differently, and it's been pretty evenly divided between my parents' houses. They live really close to each other. And I go right now, I'm like Monday, Tuesday at my mom's, Wednesday, Thursday at my dad's, and alternating weekends. But that may change as I get older. Like right now, I'm shifting into a week at a time.
Right.
But it's pretty even.
Yes, it could shift at a week at a time. Sometimes it goes for 2 weeks at a time. Sometimes it's only, a couple of days. It's maybe 5 days with mom, and then 2 or 3 days on the weekend with dad because of his work and because of the school and the parameters of where you may live. If the parents don't live near each other, they've got a thing that way too. What about with you, Marcy?
Well, my parents, they've been divorced since I was 5, and it's been pretty equal. We just, on weekends I go up to my dad's, and half the summer and half of my vacations go to my dad.
And does it seem to be working out okay with you?
Yeah, it works fine with my family. We get along great and stuff.
Well, that's the part of joint custody that I'm particularly glad about, is the fact that more often than not, I hear that the kids are really feeling pretty good about the arrangement. That is, that there's not as much bickering and not as much fighting. Let's go back right at the beginning and to the time when you were first experiencing your parents' divorce. What was it like for you? Lori, what was it like for you when they first got divorced?
Well, I was 9, so I knew pretty much what was going on, and I was really, really depressed and sad. Because first of all, I was really close to my dad, and he was moving out, so I was very sad.
What did you do? What do you remember doing? Did you bicker and fight with them? Did you start creating problems?
I would fight with my mom. I would be most of the time in my bedroom. And
feeling very lonely and depressed?
Yes. And I would cry all the time.
Cry all the time. Yeah, it's a very hard time. This is a very, very hard time for young people. And what did you do, Lisa?
Well, I didn't know that I had a father until I was 4 years old. So I didn't really know what was going on and everything until my dad showed up one day when I was, 4 and with this big teddy bear. And after that, I just knew because my mom would be all mad and be screaming and stuff and tell me I'm never going to see my dad again and that they would just use me back and forth.
That's right. That's what often happens. The parents are always using the child as a pawn for their love, for the attention, for all the things that they didn't get from the spouse. They use the child. And this is so unfair. It is such a wrong thing for parents to do with their children in this kind of way. It's just bad news, a bad thing to do. Darryl, what was it like for you when you found out your parents were divorcing?
Well, I was old enough to, I still remember everything that happened when they first separated.
How old were you?
7.
7, and you're now?
16.
16.
Yeah. And for a while, it was really depressing. And then my brother and I, my brother's 14 now, we started going to therapy or counseling type stuff.
Okay.
And that helps a lot. And
What did you learn in your therapy?
well, we went to this guy, and he you know, basically just talked to us about how we were feeling, and we'd play games and stuff, and it was just like really nice to be able to talk to somebody and have them listen.
I'm so glad that you're saying that. This is something very important to me. I am a marriage counselor and I am a therapist, and I spend a lot of time with young people in a divorce situation. And one of the things I try to teach the children especially is not to blame themselves for this divorce. It was not your problem. It was not your fault that mom and dad, who decided to marry, are now deciding to unmarry. You know, in a sense, this was not your problem, so to speak. How did you react, Marcy, when you found out mom and dad are no longer going to be Mr. and Mrs.?
Well, they used to fight a lot, and I'd be like sitting in the middle, I'd be all, okay. And then my dad would come in my room and talk to me, and then my mom would come in my room and talk to me. But
Was that helpful?
Sort of, you know, I'd know what was going on. Then they got divorced when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a lot younger, so, you know, it didn't bother me a lot, but, you know, there was
Are you
times.
coping well now that they are divorced and you are their daughter and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm fine. It doesn't, you know, actually it's kind of fun, you know, because I've got 2 lives, you know. My dad lives in the country, so I have like, you know, 2 things.
You got 2 different lives. That's a nice way to put it. I like that. You have 2 different ways. With one, you're the child of your father, and you do certain things, and with the other, you're the child of your mother, and you do certain other things that way. Mm-hmm. That's really, really a great way to do it. I like that very much. I need to take a short break now, but when we come back, I want to ask if joint custody is working for you, and if it isn't, what would you arrange differently? We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, to be perfectly blunt, tell me, does the joint custody idea work for you? How do you find it effective or ineffective in your own personal case? Jamie, does it seem to be working?
Yeah, it's definitely working. I mean, everyone's case is different. In my particular case, I don't know. Everyone here, I think, can remember something different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything different, and I've got 2 totally different families. With stepbrothers, step-parents, and so it's working fine.
And step-grandparents,
step-grandparents, and it's been that way since I can remember. And my mom, just recently, we've been talking about changing things, and I happened to be at my mom's house for a week, which is different than usual. And she said, "Don't you feel that that's a normalcy, or that felt good?" And the thing for me was, yeah, it feels normal for her because the household's complete, but for me, I still have this other household that there's still something missing for me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have 2 homes.
I see. So that and do you feel a certain loyalty to dad and stepmom and all those things, and a different kind of loyalty to mom and that?
There's different values, very different values at both houses. That's probably why they're not married.
That's the question.
And you understand? Yeah. What's the question?
I want to ask you, don't you wish you had a whole family? Don't you wish that it was just never happened? I mean, don't you?
See, that's why you can't. That's why joint custody you can't just lay across the board, because for some, I mean, for people who can remember when their parents were married, then I can definitely see how you could wish, you know. But for me, all I remember is this. This is how it's been since I remember. I mean, so for me, this is my normalcy. This is normal for me. And I can't imagine it different. I mean, I can't imagine getting rid of all the step-parents and just having my parents together. You know? This is normal
The thought
for
of
me.
it, yeah, just sends you into little creepy crawlies. That may be happening. What about for you? Are you okay with the situation as it exists?
Yeah, it's fine with me. I like it. It's yeah.
What is that smile saying? What is that smile telling me?
I get get a lot of attention and stuff. And my real dad just recently got married too, and that's kind of different.
And what's different?
He kind of he fades off a little bit. You know, I don't spend as much time with him, but we still go out horseback riding together, just me and him, and leave his wife at home by herself.
Okay, so he's been including someone else and replacing a certain amount of time with someone new, his new wife, compared to you.
Well, I don't get to go up there. Some weekends, I used to, every weekend if I called, my dad would say, Cher, yeah, come up right now, you know. But now sometimes, you know, I'll call. He says, no, me and Carrie are doing something, you know.
And how does that make you feel?
I don't know. I understand, you know, they just got married and stuff, but sometimes it's well, things aren't going to be like they used to be.
And is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay once I start, you know, I'm getting into it, so, you know, just working my
Well,
way in.
I mean, you're recognizing the fact that you're growing older too, and you're recognizing the fact that you're going to be involved with guys probably, and school and after school activities and all that sort of stuff. So you're probably not going to have quite as much time with them. I mean, I can remember when my daughter and my son were 15 and 16, and they started separating from me, and it didn't matter. I mean, they just didn't want to go to see, you know, out to the restaurants or go to the movies and stuff with us anymore. They had other things that were keeping them busy. Can you guys think of any situation where joint custody might not work, might not be a good idea? Can you think of anything, Daryl?
Yeah. If you don't, there's some cases where a child doesn't get to see his father but once a month, and
Yeah.
then so only one night. That it's just like if there was no joint custody.
That's
It wouldn't
true.
work if it was cross country either.
Yeah, if there's always a lot of transfers and switching of jobs by virtue of, especially with moms these days doing their thing and dads working far away, that might create a problem for joint custody. What else could?
Can I say that in some cases, every situation is different, and I'm thinking of a particular case that I know where they're trying to work out joint custody through the legal system, where the judge is saying the kid's got to go here this day. They're dividing up the week. The parents are just, you know, at each other, using the kids in the courts, and there's so much hate between the parents that this court, bringing them together to work out this, and the system brings them together. So in certain instances where there's just too much hate to overcome, bringing the joint custody brings the parents together, brings them to fight more, brings them to use the kids more, to wedge themselves, to use them, you know, in their battle, where maybe in that kind of case, it would be better to divide up the year somehow, where you're not bringing
right.
the parents together. In my case, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to see. And when those kinds of situations arise, I would like very much for my audience, or for anyone that's hearing us and that's in the process of any kind of divorce, to please go get some help, because the hatred, the animosity, the antipathy that you're going to engender and give off to your children is going to have a scarring effect on those kids for the rest of their life.
And
it's
sometimes the
something
kids
that really
act like that.
What's that?
Sometimes the kids act like that too.
That's right, and then
It
they
ruins
become.
kids.
That's right.
I mean, in my case, that was no problem. The reason I'm the weeks divided up is because my parents can get along. They can live, you know, 5 blocks from each other. They can talk on the phone. They can work out when I was little, who's picking up who. That was no problem. But in some cases, you can see how that doesn't work, and you have to mold the custody. You have to mold your system on your situation.
Well, our situation is such that I have to take a break right now. You know, when divorce comes into a family, there are a lot of changes. We'll take a break for a moment, and when we return, I want to know if this new arrangement has brought any good things into your life. Any good things. Don't go away. I'll be right back. With divorce comes change. Sometimes change can be for the positive, sometimes not. What do you see are some of the positive changes in your joint custody arrangement What's been a negative for you? Lisa?
Well, I don't think there's really any negative because if you're in the situation where your parents are using you as going back and forth and saying all these things that you're not going to see each other, then it's better just to, just for them to get a divorce and you have joint custody because you don't want to be used like that. And it's very emotional for a child like that.
Well, we're going to hope that when you're in the joint custody situation, and we're going to hope that when you leave your parents who are bickering and fighting, that they're not going to start bickering and fighting with each other through you. Lori, what have you found as some of the good changes since the divorce?
Well, I think some of the good changes are that, you have, two parents for, two dads and two moms. And my parents are friends still, and my stepdad and my dad are real good friends too.
That's nice.
So, I have nothing negative about it. Everybody's friends, and everybody comes over my house. And
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's an ideal way when that happens.
It's strange. People, my stepdad and my dad wash dishes together.
Do they
and
really?
stuff.
They'll become buddies, and they'll kick their separate wives out, and they'll go living into each other one of these days. Who knows? Yeah. Then we got a whole new situation comedy show. Yeah.
How is it good? It's better this way than if it wasn't joint custody because I like going to see my dad, and my parents don't fight anymore. At first they fought, but it wasn't really that bad because they wouldn't fight in front of my brother and I, which was, I guess it was nice in some respects, but bad in others. But I like being able to see my parents, both of them, even though they are divorced.
One of the interesting things was when we were warming up and talking about this whole subject, one of the questions that I posed to them is, who do you prefer living with, mom or dad? And each of the kids said to me, don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. Why can't I ask you that question? Why can't I ask you that question?
Because that's not very fair. Our parents are going to be watching. And if you sit there and say, well, my dad, I prefer my dad over my mom, your mom's going to be like,
Oh, really?
say what?
Yeah,
Just wait until you get home.
But your dad will give you a $25 increase on the allowance.
Maybe not.
Maybe
you
not.
know?
And why can't I ask that question, Jamie?
I think it. I think honestly,
Yeah.
I can say, seriously, honestly, I can say I don't prefer one, and they are so different. I said before, that's why they're divorced, is because they're so different. And
But the interest and the enjoyment and the love that you have is equal for both of them in its own way.
It's not the same, but it's different and equal.
Kind of like an anagram where we got something that's the same but different, really.
Yeah.
What would you say, let's say we have a group of judges out there, all kinds of judges who make the decisions about these things, the marriage judges, and they're out there. What would you like to tell them about your joint custody situation? What would you like to tell them about custody in total? You have anything that you'd say to them, Daryl?
Judges?
Yeah.
Well, joint custody is great. It's the best thing that you could do with a divorce when you have children, because you need a father when you grow up, and you need a mother just the same. It's important that you have both, because when you grow, you'll grow up somebody totally different, and
You are
You'd only
saying-
know half the story.
You are saying something very, very important, and it's a beautiful statement that you're making. The fact is that every kid does need a father just as much as he needs a mother, and that's an important, integral part of this relationship. And most fathers just don't realize that they are a very important part of the situation. What have you learned as a result of all these experiences with divorce? What have you learned about life, about your philosophy of life, about what's going to be for you? What have you learned, Lisa?
I've learned that I'm not going to get married until I know for sure that I'm not going to get divorced. I don't like divorce. I don't think that's right. And I don't want to put my kids through the same thing that my mom and my dad were going through. To my kids, no kid should be put in the middle of an adult's argument. It's not their problem.
Yeah.
It's not the kid's problem. It's not the kid's fault.
It's not their fault.
And if any kid thinks that it's their fault, It's not. It's
And it's up to
A
the
lot of kids
it's up to
think
the
that
parent.
too.
Go ahead.
It's up to the parents because it's not the kid's fault. It's up to the parents to work it out and not to use the kids. It's up to them to look at it objectively because they brought the kid into the world and to work it out.
What have you learned, Marcy?
Well, that it's not, it's okay.
Life's okay?
But like you can get.
Would you like not to get married?
I wouldn't get married. Most people who are younger, the younger you are, the most likely you are to get a divorce because you change. Like my parents did. When my mom started hitting her 20s, her and my dad, they both started changing. My dad was a fireman, and then he wasn't home very often. She'd feel lonely and stuff, and sometimes she'd start changing, and he wouldn't be around. And when he'd come back, she'd really changed, and he had changed. So the older you are, the better.
Yeah, by the time you put out the fire, everything was gone. That whole relationship was really gone. We'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment. Whether you're a parent in a joint custody situation or in a more conventional arrangement of custody and visitation rights, please know that your child still looks to you as the primary role model. Don't let the pain of divorce poison your child's understanding of love and relationships. So keep in mind some very basic guidelines for any family. First, never denigrate the other parent before your child. Second, spend the time and listen to your child. They need you. Third, establish clear parental guidelines and never be afraid to offer discipline fairly and justly. And fourth, be flexible, firm, and fair in all your dealings with your child and your ex-spouse. In observing these 4 ideas, everyone will come out a winner. Panel, you've been wonderful. I appreciate your responses and your honesty. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein saying we'll see you very soon.